Welcome, viewers, to yet another episode of the Indian Lawyer Legal Tips. Today, with us, we have Mrs. Sushila Ram Verma, Advocate and Chief Consultant of the Indian Lawyer and Allied Services. In today's episode, we are going to discuss the basics of Right to Information Act 2005. Welcome, ma'am.
Thank you, Harini. I think you've chosen a good topic. Many people want to know what is the Right to Information Act. Many people want to know how to get about getting the information. So I would say it's a good topic. Now, coming to what is the RTI Act all about? The RTI Act is an act that helps people to get information which was hitherto undisclosed by the government or government authorities or government aided bodies. So the idea is that there has to be transparency in governmental bodies, and most importantly, there has to be accountability. When we move an RTI application, we try to see how the person whom we are trying to get information of has acted, whether he has been fair or whether he has played foul or whether he has taken some advantage.
So, ma'am, if you could please discuss with us why the RTI Act was at all enacted.
The very purpose of the RTI Act is that it promotes transparency and accountability in the government bodies as well as government aided bodies or semi government bodies. Secondly, it empowers the Indian citizen and helps him or her to get the right information as and when he or she requires. And I would say the most important thing is it has helped to reduce corruption and promote good governance, because once people who are working in government organizations realize that they are accountable, obviously there will be good governance because they know they are answerable.
Thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am. If you could please elaborate as to whether all types of information are bound to be disclosed under the RTI Act?
No, Harini. Although citizens of India are empowered through the RTI Act to get necessary information, but that does not mean that the government is bound to give all types of information. Information which pertains to the national security or is a parliamentary privilege or is something to do with a court where it would be deemed to be a contempt of court, or if it's personal information, need not be divulged. The list which is mentioned in the screen shows a list of all those acts which are exempted from the RTI Act.
Moving on to our next question, what is actually the process involved in the right to information application once filed?
Well, the first thing you have to do is there is a public information officer in all organizations where you can go and lodge an application in which you will seek certain information. There is a small fee that has to be paid. Once you lodge your application, then the PIO is supposed to look into it and decide the whole thing within 30 days. If you're not satisfied, you can go in first appeal. The first appeal will again be decided by an officer higher than the PIO, and this too has to be decided within 30 days. If you're still not satisfied, you have the option of going in a second appeal, which will be looked into by the Central Information Commission itself, and this is decided within 90 days. Now, the Central Information Commission will consist of senior level people who can decide as to whether or not they would like to pass on the information. Ultimately, of course, you can challenge this entire process if you're not satisfied by going to a high court and filing a writ petition.
So far, we've come across the theoretical aspects of the RTI. Ma'am, if you could please shed some light on what is the practical realities or the criticisms that have been faced in this RTI process.
Well, Harini, to put it very simply, everybody thought that the RTI Act would be a runaway success. But sadly, that's not the case. While many applications are being filed on a daily basis, and especially considering that the fee is very low, it is something like rupees 10 per application, we do not have the success rate that we are looking at. One could be because too many applications and no infrastructure to support so many applications. The second would be that most applications that are rejected on the grounds of one of the exemptions. And sometimes one gets the feeling that the government is just trying to hide behind the exemptions rather than being fair about accountability. Over and above that, I would also say that the backlog of appeals that are there in the RTI Act are too many, similar to what is happening in the courts. So, putting it very simply, the RTI has had mediocre success.
So, ma'am, do political parties getting funding from the government institutions also come under the purview of the RTI Act?
Yes, certainly. Till 2013, all political parties that were funded or aided by the government were answerable under the RTI Act. However, in 2013, a bill was passed which tried to exempt political parties from the ambit of the RTI Act. The matter is currently pending in the Supreme Court, and a decision is yet to come out as to whether or not political parties are bound by the RTI Act.
Thank you, ma'am. Could you please also share with us any recent case law to explain a little more about the RTI in reality?
Harini, actually, I would say in most cases the exemptions are the reasons why RTI Act has not been successful. There is a case that came up in the Supreme Court of India called Girish Ramchandra Deshpande versus Central Information Commission. It's a 2013 case. In this case also, the matter that came up before the Supreme Court is whether or not the RTI application that was made against a government officer that called for all his information, including his personal income tax returns, were to be given by the PIO or by the higher authorities to the applicant. The Supreme Court answered this in the negative. The court felt that if it was personal information, even if it pertained to a government officer, it could not be allowed to be easily passed on to third parties because it was private information and should be protected.
Well, ma'am. So, ma'am, according to you, what do you feel? What impact has the RTI Act has had on the society?
I think the best thing about the RTI Act is it has made government bodies and government aided bodies accountable, because of which now there is a certain level of transparency. If anything goes wrong, you as a citizen of India can inquire as to what is the reason things went wrong. And also, I would say it has helped to reduce corruption. Earlier, because there was no accountability, people who were working in the government sector were very openly being corrupt in their professions or in their activities as a government officer. But now there is a certain fear.
So, viewers, if you have liked this video, please do like, share, and subscribe, and circulate it amongst your peers and network for larger outreach.
Thank you, viewers, for viewing this episode. A lot of effort goes into making these videos. I would therefore request you to please help us to spread legal knowledge within society so that everyone can benefit from it. If you want to be notified of our next episode, please press on the bell icon and you will be notified. Thank you and namaste.